Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Collector's Edition Shadowpact Ragman. Ragman is sort of a Bat-related character. I believe he's on the good guy side of things, but he started out in Gotham City. I've wanted a custom of this guy for a long time, and I won't need that anymore because there's an actual legit release. I pre-ordered this guy for the McFarlane Toy Store, took advantage of the coupon code and the bundle discount, and even after shipping taxes, got these guys for less than retail. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts. McFarlane Toys, ages 12 plus. McFarlane Collector's Edition, DC Multiverse, Ragman. Here he is in the package. We have a couple of energy effects got out of his hand. He has a display stand, a collector's card, and a display stand for the collector's card. One side of the package, McFarlane Collector's Edition, Ragman from Shadowpact. This is the 19th figure in the Collector's Edition subline. Other side, simply says Ragman. At the bottom, there's his barcode, if that helps. And at the back, here he is posed up. So with no further ado, let's open him up. And of course, I did get two of these figures, one of which to open and enjoy, the other one to keep unopened in my complete Batman-related unopened action collection. And like I said, I did order the bundle from the McFarlane Toy Store. Between the 10% off of the Platinum membership, the 10% off of the coupon code, and the bundle discount, got a pretty fair price. There are Platinum Chase variants for each of these figures, and I'm eagerly on the hunt for them. I actually need to get two of each one, so it's going to be quite the task. If anyone has a lead on where I'm able to get one for a reasonable price, please drop me a line in the comments below. Much appreciated. So before we take a look at the figure, let's talk about Ragman for a second. Originally, Ragman is a Vietnam War veteran and is a sole survivor in an attack against his father and friends, and he gains their skills and strengths. Wearing a costume that his father made out of rags, he uses these abilities to protect his neighborhood. He's usually from a poor area, ghetto, and Gotham City. They revive his origin, making him a Jewish person, and then tears his mystical suit of souls worn by his father and killed by criminals. Worn by many other champions over centuries, he's called the Suit of Souls and absorbs people's souls, takes their skills, their strengths, their powers, and adds them to him, and each time he adds one, it gives another patch onto his suit. Ragman. He's typically from a poor area of Gotham City. He's not exactly a Batman character, but I definitely consider him a Batman-related character. He's had many crossovers with Batman over the years, and a lot of his stories take place in Gotham City. Here's a look at all of my different Ragman comics, different miniseries, one-shots, and team-ups. Here's the first series of Ragman comics. This was from 1976, and it was a 5-issue miniseries. Here's the second Ragman series. This was in 1991, and is a 6-issue miniseries. Then we have the next Ragman series. This is in 1993. It's a 6-issue miniseries called Ragman, Cry of the Dead. It's been a long time later since Ragman had his own little title. There was a one-shot called Ragman Suit of Souls. This was in 2010. And then here is Shadowpact. This is sort of a team-up comic. Ragman is part of that group. This one came out in 2006 and has 25 issues. I'm actually missing one of them. And the most recent Ragman series was from 2017. This is another 6-issue miniseries. I believe this is a series that the darker Platinum Chase variant is supposed to be based off of. So here's Ragman out of the package. He comes with the display stand, collector's card, a stand for the card, and then two of these energy effects, which I'm not even sure what those things are. I don't know if it's his little powers, his energy, or for little rags he's throwing at people. I've wanted a Ragman figure for a long time. I love the obscure characters, I love the Batman-related characters, and even though he's not really a Batman villain or a Batman ally, he is sort of Batman-related, as his origins time with Gotham City. So let's take a look at him. He's got the cloth soft goods hood with a wire in it, and it's a separate piece from the cape, as you can kind of see there. So you can move it around with his head, absolutely no problem. I actually kind of appreciate that. See this little part here, gonna have to tuck that in. Then he has a string, so we're tied in a little bow tie at the front, and he has this tattered cape. It's all ripped, of course, Ragman. He has a bendy wire on the side of the cape, and the other side as well. Looks like it's done on a very thin body. Ambush bug. John Kent, I think. We'll check that out in depth later. The rags are all painted on here. It'd be nice if some are sculpted, but still, this is what it would be like if I ever made a custom of him, and it actually looks really good. I appreciate them making these deep cuts into the DC universe. I hope they do more figures like him. Fantastic. I feel like maybe it's a little too thin. I don't really remember him being a skinny guy, but I don't know. He's supposed to be poor, from the ghetto, you know. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. Hood looks good. Maybe not great, but you can reposition it with a bendy wire. Just really stoked to make it a Ragman figure. Now I'm not willing to take off the cape and undo the bow tie here, take off the hood, but I'll give you a little glimpse. That's how the rest of his head looks. On the back, just a pretty plain, basic body. Now let's check out his accessories, starting off with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand, typical McFarlane display stand we've seen a million times before. The only difference, this one has a silver DC at the bottom because it's part of the collector's edition. Here's his collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of that one-shot Ragman, Suit of Souls, I believe, which is not actually what this figure specifically is supposed to be from, which is Shadowpact. Either way, that is definitely the look this figure has. McFarlane Collector's Edition. On the back side, there is a description. It looks like this is one of his newer origins, which has been revised time and time again, but always remains somewhat similar. It doesn't do much for me, but if you want to display the collector's card next to your figure, you have a stand to do so. Now for his accessories. I guess it's one of his magical powers, but he can sort of shoot or throw what look like rags out of his hands. He can wrap people up, pull them toward him, tie him down, etc. Sometimes they come off his hands, sometimes they come all out of him. This is a semi-transparent thing, which looks more crystallized than rags. Almost looks like it's a little clip here to plug into something, which means it's probably an accessory, not originally intended for him, but they reused it for him. But I'm happy we have something like this, because that's sort of his signature move. Here's a look at Ragman using those energy effects. Looks kind of cool from this angle, but I will admit, they're not tight enough around his arms. I'll probably have to use some hot water, tighten them up. Right now it's kind of hard to get them to stay on properly and look good. Now I want to check out the reuse and differences between Ragman and a couple of other multiverse figures. He's on the pretty thin body, which was first introduced on the John Kent Superman, but he shares the most parts with Ambush Bug, as it's a pretty blank body. Starting with their heads, obviously they're different, but I'd say the torso, the arms, the diaper, and the legs are all the same, except this guy still has that weird sculpted sort of boot thing that John Kent Superman had. And they actually made a different one for Ambush Bug where it doesn't have it. Not sure why they wouldn't have used Ambush Bug's little part here. Kind of ridiculous, bad choice, with the part right in hand. So these guys are pretty much exactly the same, except for the head, the paint job, and I guess the lower part of the legs. This is that boot that I'm talking about that was originally on John Kent. They just keep using it on these blank bodies. And now, even though they have a different body, they're still doing it, which is very bizarre. Here are all the McFarlane DC Multiverse figures that utilize the John Kent body. We have 11 so far. Once the Platinum Ragman is in hand, there will be 12. Now they've taken a pretty good look at the figure and his accessories. Let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing right at 7 inches tall, which could translate to just under 18 centimeters. And for his articulation, starting with his head, of course, you can rotate from side to side. He can look up about that far, down about that much. Can't tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders on a ball joint goes up at 90 degrees, up, down, around. He's got that butterfly ring really prominent on him between his shoulder and chest area. Increase the range of motion, but more importantly, cover that giant gap that would be there. Bicep cut. Double jointed elbows. His wrist can rotate and it's going to be hinged. In his torso, he has a ball joint. Rotate around, forward and back. Another one in his waist. Also rotate around, forward and back. Between the two, pretty good range of motion. Legs complete as a splits. McFarlane style hip joints. Rotations minimal. Not bad on him. They go forward about that far, back not much. He's got double jointed knees and the ankles. Forward and back, rotate, tilt, rock, and of course, toe articulation. Here's a look at Ragman in a Gotham alleyway, protecting his neighborhood. Now let's check him out next to some other action figures. I would check him out with some other figures from Shadowpact on that team, but they don't make any of them. That team consisted of Blue Devil, Detective Chimp, Enchantress, Nightmaster, Nightshade, Ragman, Warlock's Daughter, and Zariel. Ragman has also been a member of Justice League Dark at times, but I think of him as sort of a loner protecting the slums of Gotham City. He originated in Gotham City like a bunch of other DC heroes, and he's sort of semi-Bat character. Here he is next to a bunch of other DC characters that are sort of tied to Batman or Gotham City, but not exactly Batman characters, but Batman related. We have the Question, Vigilante, Creeper, Ragman, Deadman, the Demon, and Jonah Hex. They all have strong ties to Gotham City and Batman, but are not exactly Batman characters. So here's the McFarlane Collector's Edition Wave 1. Every single Collector's Edition figure has a Platinum Chase variant. Here are both the regular and Platinum Chase variants of the first appearance Superman, the Abyss, and Alan Scott Green Lantern. And here's the second wave of Collector's Edition figures, both regular and Platinum versions of Firestorm, Hawkman, and Sinestro. Then, the third wave of Collector's Edition figures, we have the Death and Return of Superman, Captain Carrot, Batman as Green Lantern, and Wonder Woman. Here's the fourth wave. This wave consisted of Penguin, Starfire, and Captain Boomerang. And here's the fifth wave of McFarlane Collector's Edition figures, both the regular and Platinum Chase variants of Sergeant Rock, Connor Kent Superboy, and Manga Batman. And finally, next to the sixth wave of Collector's Edition figures, we have Agent Liberty, who's a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, Clock King, Ragman, and Red Hood. Now, each of these figures has a Platinum Chase variant, and I'm looking for all of them. If anybody's a lead or maybe able to get one, or if anybody possibly gets one and is willing to part with it, let me know. I'm looking for 1 Agent Liberty, 2 Clock King, 2 Ragman, and 2 Platinum Red Hoods. It's going to be quite the journey, but I'll get there eventually. Now let's check him out next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to the Walmart exclusive Max Mercury. Still looking for the Vampire Shazam, but I'm sure I'll find him soon. Here's Ragman, next to the DC Classics Darkseid Mega figure. And here he is, next to the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Centennial Park Superman tribute statue. Then, next to this recent Platinum Wave, New 52 Reverse Flash, Manhunter, and Sportsmaster. And now, with the second digital wave, Green Arrow, Superman, and the Atom. Here's Ragman, next to the DC Rebirth Tim Drake Robin, and both the Platinum and regular versions of the Cyborg Superman. And here he is, next to the Target exclusive Jim Gordon and his rookie suit Mega figure versus Mr. Bloom 2-pack. Then, next to the Target exclusive Metallo and Fire. Next, with the Nightfall Batman vs. Bane 2-pack. And now, with the Dark Knight trilogy Morgan Freeman Lucius Fox. And finally, with the Joker and Punchline 2-pack. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know designs you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start my comparisons with some of the large action figure lines I collect, and work way smaller, but first, let's check him out with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all McFarlane toys, all 7-inch scale. And now, here he is with some Jack-specific wrestling figures and some Diamond Select toys. Here's Ragman, next to a half loaf of garlic bread. And here he is, next to some DC Direct and NECA figures. Then, with both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures. And now, with some Mezco and Mattel DC figures. Next, with some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends. And finally, with some SH Figure Arts action figures and some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, I think this Ragman figure is awesome. He could look a little bit better. The cloak looks good. Not great. I actually really like the tattered parts. But, I don't know, something about the head, part of the hood seems a little bit off. You can fix it with the bendy wire. I do appreciate that they separated the hood from the cape, but that can make it look a little off at times. And then the patches or the rags. It'd be nice if they were sculpted on there, but that would require a lot of work on a brand new body. Either way, I'm really happy with what I'm looking at here. I never, in a million years, thought we would have a 7-inch scale Ragman figure in the McFarlane line. His accessories, they don't exactly look like the rag straps that I would expect to look like, but it'll do for now, and at least we have the ability to sort of use his signature power. His articulation, everything you expect from a modern McFarlane figure. Sculpt and paint job, pretty good. Just could use better sculpting on the patches, but I also understand why it is the way it is. If I were to rate this figure, I want to give him an 8, but I don't think he's worth it, so I'm going to give this guy a 7 out of 10. Really enjoying the fact that we're getting this obscure character that started off in Gotham City and has gone to many other places in the DC Universe. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.